Hello, Dele. I'm so happy that you joined with me in our last video teaching, Building Basic Meditation Practice for Well-being. Dealing with destructive emotions is extremely important to stay relaxed and calm during this coronavirus crisis. Here, we'll talk about two perspectives for dealing with the destructive emotions: the Nalanda tradition's perspective and the modern psychologist's perspective. At the end of the talk, we will do a meditation on the nature of the mind, and I hope this will help you. In the Nalanda tradition, destructive emotions are mental factors that undermine our mental peace and result in physical and verbal actions to harm oneself and to others. For example, attachment, jealousy, anger, hatred, greed, and ignorance are considered as destructive emotions. Out of these destructive emotions, ignorance is the root source of all the rest of destructive emotions. Because of ignorance or misconception about reality, all these destructive emotions arise and mislead our thoughts and actions. As they are based on illogical reasons in which they're not grounded in valid observation and reasons, they will never be realistically and logically true. And therefore, overcoming them is possible. We also have constructive state of emotions such as compassion, patience, love, kindness, and so forth. Unlike destructive emotions, they are grounded in valid observation and reasons, and we should cultivate them as antidotes to these destructive emotions in order to get rid of them. And also, the constructive emotions bring a stable and a calm mind, whereas destructive emotions bring a disturbed mind and a stressful mind. Even though the common source of destructive emotions is ignorance, each destructive emotions have their own causes or triggers. And most of the time, they unconsciously and automatically trigger our destructive emotions. For example, the most common triggers for our anger and hatred are losing jobs, property disputes, injustice, broken relationship, and financial issues and failures. When we face such problems, we might clearly see them as our problems, but we might not know they trigger our destructive emotions, anger and hatred, and leave a long-term negative impacts on our mainstream. So whenever we encounter such issues, we don't just focus on them as problems, but we look at them as triggers for our destructive emotions. As they are attacked us so many times, they don't just generate psychological traumas and cause mental disease, but they also block or prevent those conditions which are crucial to have us more happiness and satisfaction. For example, if you got fired from a job, you will feel insecure, low esteem, and stress. This stressful emotion flows your thinking and misleads you to make wrong decisions for your life and prevent you from becoming happy and satisfied. Another example is that if you get angry at someone in the morning, you might be depressed all day even though the angle itself is gone. Another important way to deal with our destructive emotions is understanding the mind. When it comes to understanding the mind, it's very important to know how our conceptual thought works and perceive things. Here, what I mean by conceptual thought is our projection, delusion, and interpretations that we have for things in our everyday life. Let me give you an example. When we see attractive thing, we will conceptualize it is as beautiful based on how it appears to us, even though we don't know whether it is truly beautiful as it appears. And then we will judge it dependent on how it appears to our mental projection without a sound reason, and then we will attach to it. Likewise, when we see unattractive thing, we will conceptualize it as ugly based on how it appears to our mental projection. And even though we don't know exactly whether it is ugly as it appears, and then we will hate it by judging it is appearance instead of it is facts. And this is how our conceptual thought works. Through this way, we can develop our wisdom to deal with destructive emotions. And in one sense, there's no difference between understanding the mind and dealing with the destructive emotions. Now let me tell you the basic perspective of dealing with destructive emotion in science. Generally, psychologists define destructive emotions as harmful emotions to oneself and to others, and make physical and psychological change that influence our thought and behavior. Even though they have been involved in humans for 1,000 years, they can be managed and reduced. As far as the so-called emotional intelligence is concerned, we can become aware of our own destructive emotions and manage them, and in which we can develop our intellectual growth and empathize with others. Daniel Goleman is the one who made emotional intelligence widely known by reading the book of emotional intelligence. He suggested that emotional intelligence has 4 domains. The first is self-awareness, the ability to recognize our own emotions and their triggers. And the second is self-management, which means handling our own destructive emotions and develop positive emotions. And the third is empathy, knowing someone's feelings and empathize with him or her. And the fourth is skilled relationship, concerning relationship management. Through self-awareness, we can obtain a set of skills to create lasting and effective relationship with others. Therefore, whether it is a knowledge tradition perspective or a modern psychologist perspective, they both believe that we can regulate our mind and reduce our destructive emotions. So in this sense, they are quite similar to each other, and we can apply both of them in our lives to deal with our destructive emotions, particularly during these uncertain times. Okay, now we're going to start the meditation. Again, this meditation is going to be analytic meditation, which means we not just be mindful with the nature of the mind, but we analyze it by asking questions and reflect on the reasons. So first of all, I want you to sit in a comfortable position, and straighten your spine or your back, and your shoulders should be open. And let your tongue touch the palate gently. Let your lips and teeth in their natural positions. Tilt your chin slightly. And place your right hand on the left hand. And the two thumbs should be touched each other gently. And fix your gaze at the tip of your nose, or you can close your eyes. Doing these postures lets your mind relax. Let's bring your attention to your natural breath. Breathe in and out through your nose for 3 times. Breathe in and out, 1. Breathe in, breathe out, 2. Breathe in and out, 3. Now bring your attention to your mind. First, check where is your mind. Is it in the past, or is it in the present moment, or is it in the future? What's happening in your mind? Let's check it. When you're reflecting like this, notice the change with your mind. If your destructive emotions come in, let them come in, but notice the change with your mind. Search the reason behind all of these changes with your mind. Don't judge them as good or bad. If destructive emotions come in, can you find the trigger of this destructive emotion? What is it? If you cannot focus because of the emotion is so intensive, don't force yourself to focus. Take several deep breaths. Breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth, deeply and deliberately. Again, bring your attention to your mind. Once you think about the trigger of your emotion, it will go away. The emotion will go away. Now reflect what this tells about the nature of your mind. As long as you recollect or hold the trigger onto your mind, the destructive emotion will arise. Now pay attention on its destructive effects. Again, don't judge it as good or bad. Just notice any impacts that this destructive emotion has left on your mind. After the destructive emotion has gone, is there still any change with your mind? Notice the difference. In this way, you familiarize with your mind and analyze it. To conclude this meditation, let's bring your attention to your breath. Take deep breaths. Breathe in through your nose and breathe in out through your mouth. And open your eyes. Thank you.
Honorable Vice Chancellor, faculties and dear students of Goa University, on behalf of administration and monks of Drepung Losel Monastery, I extend my warm greeting Tashi Delek. This would be the last section of introductory video series on meditation for well-being. I hope you all have benefited from this program. This series has been designed to give you an introduction on meditation and make you aware of the thought processes involved. So for you, this would not be the last section, but this beginning. I hope this series of videos will help you start a meditation routine. As we eat healthy food for our physical health, we need to practice meditation for our mental health. Meditation is secular in nature and does not belong to any particular religion. It helps us to lead a healthy and happy life. So everyone should have access to it. Knowledge we can learn from ancient Indian tradition of Nalanda are very practical and still very relevant in modern time. I call upon each one of you to study this tradition academically. You all should be proud that ancient Indian tradition has offered solution to modern world challenges at many levels, especially for improving the inner well-being. I sincerely thanks to the teachers and staff involved in these programs from both the institution. I look forward to many more programs like this and more collaboration between the two institutions in future. I pray for well-being of everyone. Thank you, Tuchiche.